So this is Novalee, and I am home alone this week, so I have a list of things that I need to get done besides my own personal life stuff. And today's video is actually just going to be on everything that I'm going to get done this week. And then I'll make videos as I do it. I have a list of things I want to do, and I'm going to go around right now and show you what those are, and then proceed to accomplish them over the next couple days. So this here is the lettuce bed, and we've been eating all different types. There's red romaine, red leaf, regular romaine, some different kinds of green lettuces. And some we sustainably harvest, where we just pick the outer leaves and leave the middle, so it keeps making more. And then some have actually just been chopped, like regular heads of lettuce, and given to friends and family as well. So what needs to be done here, clear out the whole bed. There's a lot of leaves that are brown and funky, and they will be removed from the bed, and this will look a lot tidier. And when I've done that, I'll be able to see where there's spaces of soil that kind of can be filled in, and I'll put the baby speckled lettuces that we just got at the Sonoma County Jail in all those little extra holes that are here. So we don't have to take up all the lettuces, but we'll see a lot more free soil. So the other thing I plan to do is I'm going to do is fill this watering can not just with water, but with some different solutions. Some are to give plants more nutrients, and some are to get rid of bugs or bacteria that are in the soil. And I'll give you more information as I do that when I make the video of it. But then I'll go around to the appropriate beds and water them with a special solution to help improve the conditions for the plants growing there. So I also need to remember that anything that's not on the dripper system that's being automatically watered needs to be watered by hand or with a hose. So the things that need to be watered with the hose are the barrels, here we've got a whole bunch of garlic growing, then there's dino kale and peas. Back in those barrels really got dried out, because these barrels are not on the irrigation system, or they are, but it's not working. And I'm not sure if it was my job to water these or not, but they've definitely been neglected. And so I'm not sure if it was my job to water these or not, but definitely somebody forgot to water them, and I need to stay on that for the whole week. Water the barrels. And then, obviously, anything that's in pots all around me is not on a dripper system, so it needs to be watered either with the handy dandy watering can, or my favorite is just to grab this hose, and I really love it. Has a nice strong spray. And I'll get to everything with that guy, including anything in pots over here, and the new starts, and some of these new starts here, and then over here there's a whole bunch of new starts: squash, parsley, speckled lettuce. And these are the almighty tree collards, growing high above the roof level. And what I need to do with them, and put them all in a bucket and take them to the compost. It's called leafing the tree collards. So they don't have any energy going to those leaves that aren't going to make it anyway. And they look a lot nicer and tidier too. So everything here that I see growing in buckets, I'm going to water it It's very, very important that, oh, there's some watercress back there. Very important that everything gets watered so it's not all dead when somebody comes back. Here's a special table set up for starts. I guess they don't need to be in the greenhouse because they're not. And there's all the baby tree collards in the tree collard nursery. And again, all of these we started ourselves with sticks. We just break off a stick from the big plants, as seen here, and they start growing as seen here. Then I'll come over here to what we call the big greenhouse. And my duties here are pretty simple. Basically, it's just to water everything. Everything. Even the babaco trees that I'm standing in front of. And the manzano peppers. And the only skill you really have to have for this is to make sure not get the walnuts, which are actually drying in the greenhouse, and they don't want to get damp. See if I can show you those. That's a tray of walnuts there, and that's an old window screen with walnuts. These are walnuts that we picked ourselves drying. So I can water everything in here. Everything, just as long as I don't get the walnuts, dirty. This is such a big greenhouse. So sorry to get you in so close here, but these tomatoes here are ready to get in bigger pots, so I'm gonna go ahead and transplant them into 1 gallon size pots, which I'll show you in the back, and then where I get the compost to fill those up. So once these guys are in their proper size pots, they'll go into our special small greenhouse, which is where all the tomatoes get to go. And I'll be making a solution to put, to sprinkle in all this soil too. And here are my empty 1 galloners that I'm going to transplant those tomatoes into. So back in there is where all the compost is. And these pots here, I'm not sure what they are, but they're going to get watered too. So all back in here behind the sheds is where we dump compost that we haven't used yet. So when I'm transplanting tomatoes into bigger pots, I'll come back here and get the compost to fill those right up, the soil level right up to the top each time. And then I'll come over here to what we call the small greenhouse, and I'll put all the tomatoes that I've transplanted in here with the other ones. And these are some of the guys that are going to get a special solution out of the watering can. Okay, so that about does it with my instructions so far. I'll let you guys know what works out and what doesn't. And now I'm actually going to go do some shipping. I'll start my gardening project tomorrow morning. I swear it. This was Novalee, and stay tuned to see what I get into in the garden.